It is a fireside chat, ladies and gentlemen, exploring sporting diplomacy through visual narratives. And is there anyone better qualified to do so? He is Australia's most capped Test player. He is our greatest ever cricket captain, one of only 15 players to score 10,000 Test runs, and someone who has met Mother Teresa. Please welcome back to the stage a cricketing legend and a legend storyteller, Steve Waugh AO, ladies and gentlemen.
Iceman, Tugger. Steve Waugh is a man with many nicknames. And
he will be in conversation with Ravneet Pawha, a distinguished education leader and IABCA stalwart. Together they will explore how sport's powerful bridge connects nations, connects people, connects cultures, and most importantly, it connects economies. From visual storytelling to cricket tourism, cultural diplomacy, this conversation promises to be and capture the spirit of Australia and India collaboration in a truly unique way. Please welcome up Ravneet and of course Steve Waugh, ladies and gentlemen. He's still quick on his feet. You just need to catch up and run between the wickets. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Ravneet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben. Still morning, so good morning, almost good afternoon, everyone. It's so good to be here. On behalf of IABCA, I thank you all for coming here tonight. And let me ask you to give a very, very warm round of applause to our wonderful Steve Waugh. Friends, the India-Australia Business and Community Alliance is Australia's largest platform connecting our two nations through business, community, businesses and culture. Since 2013, IABCA has championed more than 1,700 diaspora leaders and 7,000 alumni. What an achievement. Sonia, you should be so proud of what you've created. Today we're going to talk to Steve about his thoughts on India. We're going to talk to him about his thoughts on cricket and how he thinks sports can really connect the two nations closer, and also how it can be, I guess, an entree for doing business and economic and cultural engagement between our two wonderful nations. So Steve, congratulations. You've almost completed 40 years of your cricketing sort of career. Tell us your experience through the 40 years and what is it the one standpoint you see that really does stand out with India?
Wow, it's hard to sort of put it all together because I mean I first toured India back in 1986, which seems like a lifetime ago, pretty much is, nearly 40 years ago. That was my first experience to come to India. That was with the Australian cricket side. We were probably not one of the better teams in the world back then, and we played this amazing series against India, including the Tide Test of Madras, which was a famous test match, and I played against people like Sunil Gavaskar and Kapil Dev and all these incredible cricketers, and that was a bit of a turning point for Australian cricket. That series, we started to believe that maybe we could be a decent side again. The following year was 1987, where we were rank outsiders for the World Cup here in India, and had an incredible experience for 6.5 weeks, and we ended up winning that World Cup at Eden Gardens in front of 100,000 people. And quite incredibly in that final, we had everyone supporting us because in the semi-final we'd beaten Pakistan, and our adversaries, England, had beaten India in the other semi-final. So we turned up at Eden Gardens and there was 100,000 people cheering for us. It's the only time it's ever happened in India that we had people cheering for us. That was a great experience. And then 2001 I was part of that incredible test match series and on the losing end of that series, but it was, for Australia-India relations, it was a great 3 test match series featured by Rahul Dravid and VVS Lakman, putting that incredible partnership together in Calcutta. So cricket-wise, I've had these amazing experiences playing in India. It was mentioned before, I'd met Mother Teresa, which was a turning point in a lot of ways in my life, which turned me in a different direction towards philanthropy, which I didn't really expect, and that's something I've been heavily involved in for the last 27 years, supporting Udayan in Calcutta and the Steve Waugh Foundation in Australia for the last 21 years. So India, thank you. So India has had a huge impact in my life, not only from a cricket point of view, but life-changing moments, and now entering the business world and just seeing the enormous possibilities between Australia and India.
I remember we were on a flight together a couple of years back, and we were talking about young minds. If you do remember, I think it was 2008 or 9, and you said that it really inspires you to talk to young people and to see how you can impact lives. Can you think of any example where you've seen yourself contribute to the young minds in India? You're treated like God in this country. And I do remember when we would pass through any school or we would go to any hotel, there was no room to walk. How does that feel as a person, and what's your contribution there?
Look, it takes a while to get used to, I guess, that incredible status you get from playing test match cricket or cricket for your country, because India, they do put you on a pedestal and everything does become exaggerated, so you've got to realise that it's enormous respect, but at the end of the day, you're just normal like someone else. But having said that, I recently went on a tour to India about 5 years ago, called The Spirit of Cricket, a photographic journey where I toured all around India. I wanted to come back to India after retiring from cricket and capture why cricket is so special to the people of India, why it's such a religion. So I spent 20 days touring around India, took 20,000 photographs and came up with this amazing coffee table book, but I met so many incredible people on that journey. We played cricket in the Dharavi slums, we played cricket against some monks up in Dharamshala with the mountains as a backdrop. I played blind cricket. I played cricket with physically challenged cricketers. Had a birthday party with the oldest living Ranji Trophy player with Sachin Tendulkar. So all these incredible experiences. But met these young kids as well. We met a young 3-year-old boy through Instagram. And you talk about technology and AI, how it's changing the world. I mean, many years ago, I would never have known about this young boy, but he had an Instagram page, the 3-year-old cricketer outside of Calcutta. He had a big following. Impressive. We researched him and thought, well, we better go and have a look at this young boy and take some photographs of him to put in the Spirit of Cricket book. And I met his father about 500 metres outside of where the little apartment was, in the outskirts of Calcutta. And he walked us down the alleyways to where they lived. And by the time we got to their little apartment, there was literally 1,000 locals outside. And this 3-year-old kid had become a superstar.
Wow.
Purely because I'd gone there to photograph him. And then we took some photographs of this young boy, and being a 3-year-old, he obviously didn't have a lot of patience and he wanted to do other stuff, and we took our photos and he got a bit agitated and started whacking us with his plastic bat. He bit the other photographer, which I thought was pretty funny, but so we decided to give him a bit of a rest, and we said, look, have a couple of minutes, just calm yourself down, maybe give him a glass of milk and a couple of cookies. And so I stayed in the room where we were taking the photographs with his father. And the mother took the boy outside, and the father just broke down and started crying in front of me. And I thought, what have I done? And he said, I'm really sorry, my boy he's misbehaved himself in front of you. Now I know his cricket career is over. Oh. And he thought, because he'd done that in front of me, that he would no longer make it as a cricket player and his family wouldn't be able to get out of poverty. And so it just showed you what an impact you have as a person and a cricket player, that they thought that was actually real life. And I said, look, don't worry, he's 3 years old, I can understand. Just let him go. He's got lots of talent, and maybe one day he'll make it. But as a cricket player and a person in India, I really realised that you can make an impact, you can make a difference. I know that from the charity I'm involved in with Udayan. I didn't realise at the time, but the impact of, I guess, being a so-called celebrity, you can raise awareness, you can raise money, you can bring attention to a cause, and you actually can make a difference. So that's the privileged position you find yourself in, particularly as a cricket player.
What a beautiful story that is, and we'll come back to your work with charity. I'm just interested in the book that you talked about, The Spirit of Cricket, India, and why did you feel this was the right time to launch it?
It's a passion project. I mean, I've got to a certain age, I'm 60 now, so I want to do things are good fun, that I'm passionate about, that leave a legacy and make a difference. And I'd always toured India as a cricket player. I generally sat up the front of the bus because I was always inquisitive and curious and liked taking photographs. But when you play cricket for Australia, you can't go outside the bus and mingle with the people in the streets. It's just
absolutely. In India, you can't.
We're a bit like here. I mean, everyone wants a photo and they want a piece of your time, but time's out by 1,000 when you're playing for your country, and I couldn't do it. And I was a bit frustrated by that, so I said one day when I retire from cricket, I'm going to go back to India, get on a bus with a bunch of mates and just tour around India, stop when I see an amazing photographic opportunity, do a bit of pre-planning as well, and take these photos. And we met these amazing people. In that journey, it was 20,000 photographs I took over 19 days, and I surprised myself with the quality of the photos. But the biggest compliment I got from the book was, they said, this is not the spirit of cricket, this is the spirit of the people of India. And I think that came through in the photographs, the people I met, how passionate they were about life. Most of them didn't have a lot, financially or material-wise, but they just had this amazing passion and spirit and got on with it. And I think I wrote in the book that the spirit of cricket is about that. It's about just hitting a bat and a ball, and if you've got enthusiasm, commitment and passion, you can make anything happen. And that's what we saw with cricket in India. Going into the Dharavi slum, where the biggest, at the time was the biggest slum in Asia, 1 million people living in 1 square kilometre. We walked in there and all of a sudden we've got a game of cricket with a couple of hundred people joining in. And it was just like, everybody's equal. It doesn't matter where you come from, what religion, what colour you are, what background. When you have a bat and a ball, everyone is exactly the same.
Yeah, you're all together and you're all the same.
Yep.
Fantastic. I'm interested in your understanding of, cricket as, of course, we see it as a shared interest. It's actually really an asset between our two countries. How can it help in the Australia-India bilateral economic relationship? And over the years, have you seen it open doors for conversations and comfort level? And
look, it's I always find it not strange, but it's different. Like every time you meet anyone from India, the first conversation, the opening conversation is always about cricket and the incredible knowledge, and that's all around the world. That's not just India or Australia. Wherever I go around the world, if I bump into someone from an Indian descent, straight away they know more about cricket than I do. They know about the current status of the game, who's playing what. They want to talk about the IPL, the Indian cricket side. Even recently when Virat Kohli retired and Rohit Sharma retired, every Indian I spoke to was just, they were concerned about how's Indian cricket going to survive, how are they going to go forward without these guys. All of a sudden the game is in great shape. So every conversation, I think, in business can start with that cricket, and it's a great way to relax people, especially in meetings. Talk a bit about cricket, then you can get into the business side of things. So it opens doors, it builds relationships for sure, and you've got that common ground of cricket is something that both countries are very passionate about. So it's a really good tool to have for people to know just a little bit about cricket. And if you don't, you can bluff your way through. Just mention Brett Lee or Steve Waugh or Ricky Ponting, you're okay. Just say you know them.
Tell us about what's your favorite food in India? What do you like?
I like food full stop, so that's my problem. And every time I come to India, I go, I've got to stop eating. And I always fall for it. Every time I go to someone's place or an event, all this amazing food comes out about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and you go, wow, that was fantastic. And they go, no, we haven't brought the main meals out yet. I still haven't learned to realise there's going to be a lot of food. So I like the vegetarian dishes. I think they've got great flavours in India, a little bit different to what you get in Australia. But I like seafood, so any sort of fish curry. My favourite vegetable is okra or bindi. So, but generally...
Do you cook any Indian food?
I cook food at home. I like cooking food, yeah. So I like eating, so I like cooking. So yeah, I don't cook a lot of Indian food, but my kids love Indian food as well, so yeah, definitely.
That's great, fantastic. Tell us more about the work and charity that you're doing in Australia and India, and I think that as a celebrity, that's one of the biggest give back to society that you can do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it just sort of happened. People say, how did you get into charity? I don't really know. It sort of found me a bit. I guess the catalyst was meeting Mother Teresa when I look back. And that was sort of just happened by accident almost as well. I was on a tour to India in 1994 and 95. And one of the journalists on the tour was a guy called Robert Craddock. And I did an interview with him 6 months before. One of the questions he asked me was, which person do you most admire in the world? And I just said Mother Teresa. And he was on this tour. We were staying in a hotel, Oberoi, I think it was the Oberoi Hotel in Calcutta. We had a day off from cricket. And he just said, do you realise you can meet Mother Teresa? I said, how? He goes, it's pretty simple. You just get a rickshaw to the Sisters of the Missionaries of Charity Mother House in Calcutta. go there early in the morning and you can witness a mass and maybe you can meet her personally. So I just took the team bodyguard, a photographer, a guy called Trent Park, who was actually the same photographer that went on the Spirit of Cricket with me. We got that early morning rickshaw, 6 a.m. in the morning, went to the Sisters of the Missionaries of Charity Mother House, witnessed an early morning mass, which was pretty incredible because I'm not really a church goer. I try and do the right thing, but I don't think I'm a really religious person. But that sort of convinced me that there was something definitely more there, because I was watching all these nuns praying and there was wooden slats through the windows and all these shafts of light were coming through the window, just landing on top of the nuns' heads. It was pretty surreal watching it. And then that sort of finished and I was just standing, and then Mother Teresa came towards me and sort of, I think she must have been told I was there as part of the Australian cricket side. Had a brief interaction, and she was one of those people where sometimes you build people up and they're a bit of a letdown, but she definitely had this amazing presence and aura about her. And it's hard to put your finger on it. There was something special about her. And that left a lasting impact on me, that maybe if I get the opportunity I should do something to emulate her work in a small way. A year later I was invited back in India, I was invited back to visit this place called Udayan, which is a rehabilitation centre for kids who suffer from leprosy, or their parents have leprosy. Went to this centre, saw how great it was, and I said I want to see what the kids are like living in a leprosy colony. So I was the first sports person I think to ask to go into a leprosy colony, which I did, and I saw the terrible living conditions, how really devastating it was to be born into a leprosy colony. And I decided then to raise funds for a girls' wing at Udayan, and that's 26 years later now. It's still going well. There's 100 girls there, and the money I've raised over the years has helped various projects. The one right now is to educate or help kids get educated into the hospitality and nursing sector. So the girls, when they become 16 or 17, we now fund the courses to give them the chance to get a full-time job. So that's how that started, and then from that I went into my charity work in Australia, which is the Steve Waugh Foundation, in conjunction with my wife, and that looks after kids who have the rarest of the rare diseases, the ones that are the orphans of the health system in Australia, and we support them by each individual case has different needs. So it sort of all happened back on meeting Mother Teresa.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Thanks.
Just coming back to Brand Australia for a minute. We are we've heard the High Commissioner speak, we've heard the Minister speak. We are in an era of an amazing relationship between our two countries, whether it is, as the High Commissioner puts it, strategic alignment, or it is, the diaspora between our two countries, or it is the economic partnership. What do you see as the future between the Australia-India relationship, and how do you think legends like yourselves can add to that value?
Yeah, well, I've been coming to India for a long time, as I say, but I've noticed a real shift in the last couple of years between the relationship, but how much stronger it is and how it's been strengthened by a lot of great work from people who have been over here, including Barry O'Farrell and people like that, really strengthened the ties. I just think, and the word the Minister used before was mutual trust and respect. I feel that all the time whenever I go to media or at an event, there is that mutual trust and respect, and I think we can do great things together. We sort of need each other in business. We have great synergies in a lot of different things. Again, cricket is the foundation for a lot of things, but obviously there's great opportunity in education and IT and all sorts of businesses. But I just feel the time is right. Sometimes in cricket, I had a feel for whether the team had that X factor and there's something special about our team where we could do special things. You get that feeling now there's a bit of an X factor between Australia and India. And it's hard to put your finger on it why it is, but you can just feel there's something happening right now.
Absolutely. And I think for me, someone being in the Australia-India corridor for over 3 decades, I do feel, the last couple of years has been just amazing for our relationship between the two countries. Yesterday you launched Australia Essence. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, look, it's a business venture. It's I like a challenge, that's for sure. Together with Tim and Karina down there, my partners in the business, Australia Essence. It's basically, over the years I had many people come up to me when I come back from Australia and they say, "Can you help me get into India, get my business into India?" And I'd always try my best, and I'd pass on contacts and networks, but I wasn't really sure whether it was followed through on how they went down the track. But now with our complementary skill set, we can facilitate entry into the Indian business market for Australian businesses and products. And yesterday we launched 9 Australian companies. A lot of those hadn't been to India before, to try and just facilitate entry into that the huge Indian business opportunity for Australian products, quality Australian products that we're world's best at, introducing that to the Indian market. So that's the idea of the Australia Essence, is to bring the best of Australia to India.
That is fantastic. And how do you think platforms like IABCA play a role in this whole story, and what would you like to see more of?
Well, I think just listening to these forums and these chats up here, I've learnt a lot just in the couple of hours I've been here. So it's about listening and learning, and I think sometimes about putting your ego aside and just realising that someone maybe can do it a better way, and can we work together? Can we do it differently? I think there's great opportunities. The more we talk and more we collaborate, the more opportunities will come and strengthen the ties between Australia and India, which is already really strong, but I think we can go now to that next level.
Where do you see the biggest opportunity for young Australians in India to sort of learn from India, be in India, visit India? What would you tell them to do?
I think India is obviously a very young country. The average age is 33. I just see a lot of young entrepreneurs having a go and backing themselves and saying, I can do this, I can take the world on. I see it a bit in my kids as well, particularly my youngest daughter thinks she's going to conquer the world and create all these businesses, which is great. I love that spirit, where have a go spirit. I think Aussies are pretty renowned for that, having a go and rolling up the sleeves and having a crack at it. And that's what I see with a lot of young Indians, that they're prepared to back themselves and have a go. And I think that's definitely something we can learn. I think in Australia we need to support our young people more, particularly entrepreneurs. I just look at my daughter's situation. There's not a lot of support or help there for young people who want to have a go and take the world on. In Australia we need to get better at that and we support our sports people and different areas, but entrepreneurs, we need to support them a lot more.
Let's talk a little bit about the sports ecosystem in India and the sports ecosystem in Australia. And we talk about India bidding for 2036 Olympics. There is a huge opportunity for Australia and India to come together, whether it is high-performance sports, whether it is sports management, whether it is looking at nutrition or sports psychology. What's your sense, being a sports person, being in Australia all this while, but also understanding India and where the gaps are?
Yeah, there's been a bit of a shift, I must admit. Look, growing up in Australia, sport was everything to me. I mean, I went to school basically to play sport. Probably not the right thing to say, but I was growing up, it was sport 24/7, and then education, I fitted that in alongside my sport. India's the other way around. Education is number one, and then if you want to play a bit of sport, that's great. But just recently I've seen that change a bit, where there's a lot more focus on sport in schools and education, incorporating different academies and different sports and technology and sports know-how, and Australia is really great at that. So I think I know that India are very keen to have a positive influence on the world stage, and not just cricket, but at the Olympics. And I think Australia can really help there. We've got the best of technology, the best sports science, the best sports medicine, sports clothing. We've got a couple of apparel brands with Australia Essence in that sporting area. So we have got the technology and expertise in Australia to definitely help India become better at the sports. They don't need any help in cricket. They're doing very well there, but there's other sports where Australia can definitely help, and with coaching, technology, all that goes behind it, there's definitely collaboration needed between Australia and India for India to really start to do well at events like at the Olympics.
Fantastic. I think there is a huge opportunity for our two countries to work together in that area. Steve, you've built your legacy on integrity, resilience, teamwork, hard work. I remember in that discussion that we had a couple of years back, you talked about how dedicatedly you really worked very, very hard to build your cricketing career. I do remember you mentioned in your backyard you had this hanging ball that you call it, and you would hit that day after day, year after year, and practicing for it.
Right.
Tell us, and I think people in the room would be interested to hear, what values have got you to point where you are today in your life?
Good question. When people ask me how you become successful, I think the number one thing is perseverance. Everyone in this room has persevered to get a seat at the table here today. The easy option would have been to take a shortcut or do something different. And I'll say one thing I've learned from meeting successful people is 4 words they generally don't use, and that's would have, could have, might have, and should have, because they're all excuses for hard work. So when I look back on it, the people that make it, that are successful, they don't take the shortcuts, they do the extra little things, they persevere, they bounce back, because most days aren't going to be successful or go your way, particularly in sport and I guess in business as well. But it's how you bounce back the next day where you reveal your true colours and show how good you are and what you're made of. So sport definitely taught me that, not to give up, to keep persevering. If you believe in it enough, you can overcome anything. But at the end of the day, you've got to have the fire in the belly and the passion. People can't tell you what to do or they can't force you or make you. You've actually got to want to do it yourself. So at the end of the day, it comes down to attitude. Have you got the right attitude? And in the Australian side, we had a saying, attitudes are contagious, is yours worth catching? So maybe you can reflect on that. Is your attitude something that you want other people to see or your teammates to follow? If not, then do something about it.
Fantastic. Just last question from my side. If you could capture a picture that perfectly symbolizes the Australia-India relationship now and then 5 years later, what do you see?
Oh, a picture.
From where you sit, maybe from a sporting perspective or maybe from an Australia-India overall perspective.
Yeah, look, I think just continue on the path we're going. I mean, and help each other and collaborate. I think on that photographic journey for myself, it was just bring awareness to causes. Like, we took some amazing photographs of these physically challenged cricketers who get absolutely zero support. And there's a lot of money in cricket in India, like billions of dollars. And these guys, to me, they were amazing to watch. I mean, they were missing limbs and physically challenged, but they had this incredible passion for the game. It was like poetry in motion watching them. And I just felt like these guys should get support. They should get, it was guys and girls, they should be getting financial support, coaching. So in some small way, we tried to help them with that. So I think it's about just seeing the average normal person, trying to help them and trying to uplift them, trying to give them opportunities to be the best they can possibly be. It's not just always about the top end of town and making lots of money, but it's about making people as good as they can possibly be by helping them in whichever way is possible.
Thank you, Steve, for that wonderful conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our wonderful Steve Waugh. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure interacting with you. Thank you.